Dogs aren't just man's best friend, they're cunning heroes and have helped more than once in rescuing a lot of people from inevitable death. This story is just another reason why dogs are marvelous animals who are sometimes underappreciated. It goes back to when the 10-year-old girl, who remains unnamed, was out walking her dog through the Prince William County neighborhood at around 4 p.m. on a Friday afternoon. On her walk, the little girl suddenly found herself in a real-life nightmare scenario. While she was on the 1,800 block of Heather Glen Court holding her dog's leash, people were getting home from work. In broad daylight, in a crowded street, a stranger approached the child and grabbed her by the arm. The man tried to abduct her and get her into his car. Luckily for the little girl, she wasn't walking alone. What almost became a real nightmare and the terror that enveloped her heart was quickly ended thanks to her furry companion. According to the Prince William County Police report, it was the child's faithful companion who saved her from an inevitably dark fate when the canine stepped in and defended the girl. Before the abductor could make off with the child, the dog jumped into action in the blink of an eye. The dog lunged at the girl's attacker, biting him hard with all the force the dog had in it. The dog persisted in the attack until the abductor finally released the child from his grasp and allowed her to run away from the human monster. The sudden and fierce attack forced the suspect to run away, fleeing from the crime scene on foot. Barely a few minutes after the attack, the police were called. The authorities got there as soon as they were called and began their thorough search of the area with a police K-9. However, despite their efforts, the perpetrator was nowhere to be found. Concluding that the abductor fled the scene and wasn't going to be found easily, they decided to make a sketch of him built, and a description was later released by police in hopes that the public could help apprehend him. Anyone with any information that could be of help to the detectives in their investigation was urged to call the Prince William County Police Department. The suspect was described as a man in his late teens or early 20s. He was between 5 feet 3 inches and 5 feet 6 inches tall, and weighed about 145 pounds with short dark hair and a goatee, according to Fox 5 reports. The Prince William County Police Department, PWCPD, shared a Facebook post about the incident where they added that the perp was Hispanic and last seen wearing a white striped shirt and light-colored long pants. The victim, who was not named by police in order to protect her privacy, was thankfully not physically harmed, thanks to her loyal dog. Despite the fact that authorities didn't release a description of the heroic animal, a Facebook user named TJ Griffin commented on the PWCPD's post to clear up some things and give answers to questions many were asking. According to TJ, the Facebook user in question, the girl in the story was actually his niece and the dog was his female black coat German Shepherd Retriever mix. His shepherd was named Rosie by his niece, after he adopted the pup from Forever Home, a rescue foundation in Chantilly, Virginia. It seems that Rosie remembered that they saved her, and in return, she decided to save them, paying her debt towards her humans. TJ even included a photo of Rosie with his comment, adding that she was only a little over a year old when the incident occurred. She is very protective, playful, and loves kids and the snow, TJ said of his beloved dog. I gave her all the meaty treats and a full dog spa treatment for her bravery, he added proudly. TJ continued in his comment to thank everyone for all the love and good vibes that were sent his niece and Rosie's way by other concerned commenters who were very alarmed and worried by the incident. But of course, the biggest thanks of all belongs to Rosie herself. After all, a little girl is sleeping safely in her bed tonight, thanks to this beautiful good girl. Even though the little girl was saved from what could have been an otherwise absolute tragedy, this story should serve as a warning to other parents who let their children roam the streets unsupervised. Having your child snatched by a stranger at a place you thought to be safe is definitely a parent's worst nightmare. And what makes things even worse is that this attempted abduction took place in the middle of the day, during a time when the neighborhood was very busy with parents returning from work and children headed home from school, in circumstances that would otherwise be safe and very unlikely for a kidnapping to happen. It is perfectly natural for most people to feel safe and comfortable in their own neighborhood, especially during such a busy part of the day, where you think no one would dare attempt anything in the middle of a crowded street. Most would never think that a kidnapper would actually strike with so many eyes all around them. This one, however, against all odds, did. Luckily, someone did have their eye on this little girl, and it happened to be no one but her faithful companion who was more than willing to sink her teeth into the little girl's attacker. As we've said many times before, dogs aren't only man's best friend, as they have proved it many times, they are also a person's greatest protector. Even though they are usually attentive, caring, playful, and very pleasant, they are also incessantly loyal and can get fiercely protective of those they love when they're in danger. Sometimes our heroes don't wear capes and our angels don't have wings. They have fur and walk on all fours and bark when they're happy or scared.